Greeted by a bright and sunny Aqueduct racetrack on this Saturday, November 14th. Fast and firm, no carryover in the pick six. Off and running on our latest edition of Aqueduct Insider. And given all that's going on in the world, certainly nice to start the day and get back to the basics and something we love and we're very passionate about in thoroughbred racing. And glad you're along for the ride. It's Jason Blewett, Richard Migliori. And just like that, Mig, doesn't feel that long ago we were starting the turf season in the Big Apple. At least regarding the graded action, it came to a close today with the Red Smith.
Yeah, and Red Smith, always a strong race. I thought this year a very strong edition of the Turf Classic, excuse me, Red Smith. Boy, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself.
Well, they used to run the Turf Classic here, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Absolutely, and it was about this time of year they ran the Turf Classic, before the Breeders' Cup, when they would have the Washington, D.C. International and the Turf Classic, as well as the Canadian International. That was the big three back then.
Wow.
The Breeders' Cup certainly changed that landscape. But getting back to the Red Smith, I thought it was a terrific race.
And we'll have that race in its entirety for you, all 11 furlongs in a solid field, as the Mig noted. And a solid field and solid fields, we'll use the plural term, as Laurel had their day in the sun, DeFrancis Day, a number of supporting $100,000 stakes. And we'll get right down to the action here as they rocket off the far turn in this $350,000 stake and hold all tickets. Trouble Kid does cross the finish line first. He was disqualified, and Gentleman's Bet got the victory.
Well, Trouble Kid certainly created enough trouble down the backstretch into the far turn, and it affected the runner-up a great deal, Gentleman's Bet, as well as the eventual third-place finisher, our own Palace. Although he was not disqualified behind Palace, maybe if Cornelio claimed foul, maybe they would have been different. But let's keep an eye on it. The horse on the outside is Trouble Kid. Gentleman's Bet right to his inside, circled. Palace inside of them. And as we head down towards the turn, you're going to see Trouble Kid angle over without clearance. And Jason continually put pressure. He doesn't do anything to relieve the pressure. He doesn't go on enough to clear these horses. And eventually you're going to see they get to bouncing inside of him. The eventual runner-up has to check, go to the outside. Now you see Joshua Navarro look back. It's a little late now. You don't change lanes without checking for clearance. Well, you know what? There's a difference between careless riding and intentional, basically poor riding. This was intentional. His intent was to make these guys inside of him very uncomfortable, tighten it up, went over the line, and guess what? He cost himself a big victory, because I'm not 100% sure that Trouble Kid wouldn't have fended off Gentleman's Bet anyway. He was very resolute through the lane, seemed to have an answer every time that horse came to him. But at the end of the day, he fouled him, and we'll never know with a clean trip who might have been best. And that's the last thing you want, because it leaves everybody very unsatisfied.
No kidding. And you wonder if Joshua Navarro will be back aboard the winner, or the disqualified winner, Trouble Kid, as that horse was looking to remain a perfect 5 for 5 off the claim for Ramon Preciado. Glad everybody stayed up and was okay, so to speak, though, with the DeFrancis Dash. And a bit earlier in the day, let's backtrack midway through the card, race number 6. One of our buddies from last winter, El Kabir, back into the winner's circle, and he just gets up on the outside in the Aqua Zayat Silks.
Yeah, El Kabir under Cornelio Velasquez was able to get out from behind horses in the middle of the stretch there, and it seemed like he got much more comfortable, Jason, when he got out of that kickback, dropped his head, went for home. And I think about El Kabir, you know, winning the Gotham earlier in the year, a horse that would be the big horse in almost anybody else's barn, but he came along in the same year for the Zayat family as American Pharaoh. He basically became somewhat of an afterthought, but a real nice little horse, and congratulations to John Terranova getting him back in the winner's circle.
Very nice job by the Terranova crew, and maybe El Kabir, the kind of sprinter or late-running closing sprinter, will have all winter long with us here at Aqueduct. Seems like a good toboggan kind of horse, and maybe pointing towards the 2016 Carter down the road. Linda Rice in action down at Laurel today. Of course, Palace, things did not work out with him in the featured DeFrancis Dash. That was not the case with Hot City Girl, who just pulverized this field in the safely kept.
Well, this was a very, very powerful performance, and Cornelio set her down. She really kicked on for him. You can see she's trying to lay in just a little bit through the stretch, but we talked about it down in your office, Jason. How about the mother, Noble Fire? She is just thrown one runner after another, and I mean, La Verdad might be retired, but Hot City Girl certainly is stepping up to the plate and trying to fill some very big shoes, but she's on her way. Congratulations to the Connections. Real nice filly.
And Sheila Rosenblum has just got one horse after another that can really flat-out fly, and Hot City Girl the goods today down in Maryland. In fact, Linda Rice had a few horses running on today's card, as did a number of top trainers, including a couple Hall of Fame conditioners in our featured Red Smith. It is the final graded stakes race on the Naira turf for 2015. 3 turns, mile and 3 furlongs. John Abrial with the calls. We set it up for a very solid field.
There in the gate. And they're off in the Red Smith handicap. War Dancer from the inside post goes out for the lead with St. Albans Boy, and Mr. Speaker is up close on the outside. They race into the far turn for the first time. War Dancer leads by a length. Mr. Speaker runs in second with St. Albans Boy down on the inside in third. And then Holiday Star in fourth. Kagan is in between horses fifth. Iron Power down at the rail in sixth. And at the back are Mr. Maybe and Charming Kitten. War Dancer has the lead here by almost a length over Mr. Speaker. The opening quarter, 26 seconds. So they're in a crawl right now with War Dancer the leader and Mr. Speaker on the outside in second. St. Albans Boy runs third. Then it's Holiday Star next and fourth, followed by Iron Power and Kagan. Charming Kitten is seventh, and Mr. Maybe is the trailer in eighth. Moving into the clubhouse turn after a half mile in 51 1/5 seconds. War Dancer in front by a half length. Mr. Speaker on the outside in second. A break of 2 now to St. Albans Boy and Holiday Star. Their heads apart, third and fourth. Kagan's in between horses. Charming Kitten on the outside. At the back are the 2 grays, Iron Power and Mr. Maybe. And they're midway up the backstretch, 3/4 in 1:16 4. War Dancer, Mr. Speaker. They are heads apart for the lead, with St. Albans Boy just in behind in third, and Holiday Star on the outside in fourth. Charming Kitten and Kagan right together, and Mr. Maybe and Iron Power. Now they race around the far turn with War Dancer and Mr. Speaker still 1-2. It's War Dancer on the inside and Mr. Speaker on the outside, and now those two have opened up 3.5 lengths on Holiday Star in third. Mr. Maybe begins to pick it up on the outside, but still 5 lengths from the lead. It's War Dancer, Mr. Speaker, and here's Mr. Maybe. Mr. Maybe to the front. Then War Dancer, Mr. Speaker, Holiday Star, and Kagan down at the rail. No doubt about this winner. Mr. Maybe wins the Red Smith handicap. Then it was Kagan, Holiday Star, and War Dancer.
Right, no shrug of the shoulders or any wishy-washiness with Mr. Maybe. Emphatic every step of the way. What an effort for Chad Brown and the Red Smith.
It was amazing when he got out in the clear how quickly he picked up these horses off a slow early pace. His acceleration was breathtaking, and I like John Imbrial's call. No doubt about the winner, Mr. Maybe. Well, you know what came to mind for me? You know, no, yes, sir, that's my baby. No, sir, I don't mean maybe. There was no doubt about his dominance in this Red Smith.
Grand slam over today's 3-turn Red Smith with Erod Ortiz on what is 19th graded stakes, Mig, this year in 2015. And you were alongside, in fact, after the race, and here's what went down.
Irad, Mr. Maybe's got some turn of foot. You're 2 for 2 on him now. Were you concerned when they were going so slow in front of you?
I mean, first I want to say thanks God and thanks the owner and trainer for giving me the opportunity. And the owner told me he's that kind of horse, like lazy horse, don't rush it too much, try to save ground. So I break out of there and try to save ground the whole way. By the half mile, you know, we're going a little slow, so I have to move and I go a little wide, but I got horse when I asked him, he just take off.
I think that was a key decision, though, when you got him out in the clear and let him start building some momentum.
That what the trainer told me. That was a great move, but, you know, I just feel in that point like I gotta go, but I got horse, nowhere to go in inside. I have to go in around, but that's gonna work out good.
You've been riding so well all year. You win on everything, turf or dirt, but it seems like you've really gotten a hot hand on the turf lately. Stephanie's Kitten in the Breeders' Cup. What is the key to your success on the grass?
I mean, you know, I got the right horses. That's what I think, and I really love Ramon on the grass, and I see him watching a lot his races, and you know, I just heard what he told me and, you know, try to get relaxed. And when you got the horse, I think it's a little more easy. Chad Brown gave me a lot of help, and everybody else too, you know. I got nice horses. When I got nice horses, it's more easy for me.
Well, the way you're riding, I'm sure Ramon Dominguez is proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So a man, young kid who rides to instruction, and Steve Rushing putting him on live horses, and it doesn't hurt when you're in the barn, and basically first call for Chad Brown.
Yeah, and he has definitely assumed the role as the first call rider for Chad Brown, and he does that for two reasons. One, Chad's got confidence in him. He's really built himself a nice niche, and you know, when you see a kid develop the way he has and work as hard as he has, he earned his chance, and he's making the most of it.
And for a trainer who's now got 31 graded stakes in 2015 and the win in the Red Smith, Chad's first in the Red Smith puts him past the $19 million mark in purse earnings. Only Todd Pletcher is in front of Chad, and he may find himself once again a finalist for an Eclipse Award. A few worlds left to conquer for Chad Brown off a two-win Breeders' Cup weekend. We'll find out how Governor Malibu does dropping out of the Sleepy Hollow on the other side of this quick break.
Now you can enjoy your favorite pro and fantasy football teams while playing the races in style as Longshots welcomes back NFL Sunday Ticket. With over 400 HD TVs, 270 individual carols, a full-service sports bar and food menu, Longshots is the place to catch all the great racing and football action. So come on out, bring your friends, bring your league to Longshots, located on the second floor at Aqueduct.
All right, mark your calendar, November 21st, Saturday, November 21st. In fact, next weekend, we'll have that one-day fall Big A handicapping challenge, a $500 buy-in. Now, this is a live bankroll contest. $200 to your live bankroll. You will bet your winnings throughout the day. $300 to the prize pool and 4 coveted seats to the National Handicapping Championship. And we're handicapping. We're burning the midnight oil. In fact, they're still going on at Laurel, Churchill Downs, and a little Del Mar, as Jason Blewett and Richard Migliori welcome you back to the Big A. The sun is set, and we're still here, and plenty of insider left on tonight's show.
That's some really interesting racing to look at. We got past our last graded turf stake, but we still got some good stuff.
Indeed we do. Let's backtrack. Race number 5, Governor Malibu, all the rage. In fact, hammered down to 1-5 for Christophe Command. He will face a fellow group of New York-bred 2-year-old maidens, and John Embrial is standing by for the call.
Governor Malibu. Mind your biscuits there, and down at the rail, it's hold the right cards. As the field heads up the chute towards the main track, it's Sherry's Miracle with the lead, and Mind Your Biscuits runs in second in between horses. Governor Malibu to his outside, and hold the right cards down at the rail. Then Bluff Harbor and Ben's Miracle at the back. The quarter went in 23-4, and big long shot Sherry's Miracle is in front by a length and a half over Mind Your Biscuits. Then the big favorite, Governor Malibu, in third, 3.5 from the front. Hold the right cards is next in fourth, followed by Bluff Harbor and Ben's Miracle. It's still Sherry's Miracle on the lead here by 2. Ran a half in 47-2. Mind Your Biscuits getting closer now in second. Governor Malibu on the outside in third. And then the gray hold the right cards advancing down at the rail. Big break to the 2 trailers, Bluff Harbor and Ben's Miracle. And now they've caught Sherry's Miracle. Mind Your Biscuits. And on the outside, it's Governor Malibu. Governor Malibu up on the outside to challenge Mind Your Biscuits for the lead. Sherry's Miracle is back in third, and hold the right cards out in the middle of the track. Governor Malibu in front, with Mind Your Biscuits giving chase in second. Ben's Miracle putting in a bit of a late run, but will not threaten the winner here. Governor Malibu breaks his maiden as the odds-on favorite. And it looked like Ben's Miracle did get up for second in a 3-way photo. With
tight photo for the place, 4-6-1 under the wire, but no doubt about the winner at 1-5, colt by Malibu Moon Mig, who paid $250, dropping out of the Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, gets a little class relief, comes out of a restricted stake to break his maiden the right way. Kind of interesting. Ben's Miracle and Uncle Mo, first time on the dirt after 2 turf races, and delivered a nice performance. Maybe he wanted the dirt all along.
Could be the case. We will have a Uncle Mo 2-year-old filly winning a stakes for you on the National Racing Report down at at Laurel today for Mike Rapoli and trainer Todd Pletcher. And as good as Joel Rosario and Christoph Comont are, let's see if they can come back and cap their own rolling double in races 5 and 6. They've got the outside runner Indebted for a little turf action on this sunny Saturday at Aqueduct. 3-year-old high-priced allowance optional claimers, and Johnny I from the booth.
Indebted, Disco Partner, those three from the outside. And it is Disco Partner who comes away with a narrow lead over Indigo Bow. Mark My Style is down at the rail with Indebted alongside. A length and a half, Don't Bet with Bruno runs in 5th. Bullheaded Boy on the inside is 6th, and a gap of 4 to Rock Eagle in 7th, and On Tenderhooks trails the field in 8th. The opening quarter mile in 23 3/5 seconds as they move around the turn and head for the backstretch. Indigo Bow on the outside pokes ahead in front of Disco Partner. Indebted sits right behind in 3rd. To his inside is Mark My Style in 4th. Don't Bet with Bruno is 5th. Then it's Bullheaded Boy in 6th, about 5 off the lead. Rock Eagle has moved to the extreme outside and is gaining some ground. On Tenderhooks is at the back. The half in 49 2. There goes Indebted now. Indebted goes on up to grab the lead with Rock Eagle now moving into 2nd. Disco Partner is down at the rail. Indigo Bow on the far outside is Don't Bet with Bruno, followed by Bullheaded Boy. Mark My Style has been shuffled back to 7th. On Tenderhooks is the trailer. Indebted and Rock Eagle. And the two of them arrive at the top of the stretch together. Indebted on the inside and Rock Eagle on the outside. Disco Partner is now coming on from 3rd. Disco Partner up on the outside. Rock Eagle's in between horses. Indebted down at the rail. It's Indebted in front with Disco Partner giving chase. Indebted, Disco Partner driving up on the outside. Indebted, Disco Partner, Indebted holds on for the win. Disco Partner was 2nd, 3-way photo for 3rd.
And just like that, Rosario and Clement come right back with a pair of winners, Mig, by Malibu Moon.
And a beautiful ride by Joel Rosario. Turf racing is so much about trips. This horse got the perfect trip. Disco Partner, horse coming out of sprints. It was a little bit keen. Jose Lezcano did a good job getting him back. He made his run. I thought the one horse, Rock Eagle, made a huge middle move, might have compromised his chances, as well as Bullheaded Boy, who I think is a difficult horse to ride. He seems like a bicycle. If you're not pedaling, he's not running. He gets shuffled back, and then he ran on again late. But the perfect trip, Indebted.
And Bullheaded Boy can come back, though, and run on the inner track, where some of these might be punching their tickets down to South Florida for a little green stuff at Gulfstream Park. As we set sail for Saturday's Rapid Fire Pick 6, well, sort of a Pick 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, and 9 with the Wicked Sunset. Real pretty sunset in Queens. Take it away, Johnny I.
In the stretch, it's B3 on the inside and Firestar all out on the outside. B3 leads by 2. Firestar driving in 2nd as they come down for the 16th pole. B3 trying to hold off Firestar. It's B3 in front. Firestar still 2nd. And B3 has won it. A little more than a length. Firestar 2nd. 8 lengths. Back to Wire Dancer in 3rd. And Mississippi Duel off the turn and into the stretch. And Long for the City is in front by 2.5 lengths. Tug of War is 2nd. Farther back, it's Money in Your Pocket in 3rd. Long for the City leads inside the 8th pole, but here's Tug of War on the outside getting closer. Long for the City and Tug of War, the favorite and the longest shot on the board, and the longest shot on the board wins it. Tug of War at 9-1. And Hush Now. The field comes into the stretch, the half in 47 3. And here's Hush Now to go up and take over the lead. Hush Now in front easily. Hush Now in front by 4. Then Hashtag Bunny, Kitai, and Nordic Bird. Hush Now won by a half dozen lengths. Hashtag Bonnie completes the exacta. 3 for me. In between horses, Harpoon, Frogman Mel on the outside, Blue Pigeon looking for a way through. 3 for me, Blue Pigeon darts to the rail. On the outside, it's Frogman Mel, and then Harpoon. 3 for me in front, and 3 for me led every step of the way. Blue Pigeon was 2nd, then Frogman Mel, followed by Harpoon. Farther back, it's How About We and Broadway Bay. The half was run 44 seconds. The field's in the stretch. And it's Adams, Note, and Native George, and they're still there. And now Ogermeister is tailing off, being passed here by Adirondack Posse. On the outside, it's 100%. Adirondack Posse has the lead, and Adirondack Posse draws away in deep stretch. Adirondack Posse and Dylan Davis. Adams, Note, was second, and Native George held third. And it is Polar Access with the lead. Room now for the Imposter, who comes on through. Sun Worshipper on the outside. They're all chasing Polar Access with a narrow lead. Here's the Imposter, Polar Access, and the Imposter. The two of them duke it out right down to the wire. The Imposter wins it. Polar Access was second, and Sun Worshipper finished third.
Well, Rosario so close to the hat trick, just picked off at the wire by the Imposter as we break out Cappy in the second look on this second Saturday of the meet. And let's roll back to B3, who had the white shades on, good speed from Jose Ortiz, and mopped up the field in the opener.
Well, we've seen this move quite a bit from Linda Rice, debuting horses on the turf, turning them back to the dirt, kind of complete makeover here, blinkers on, and she takes them wire to wire. And this is a filly, though, with a turf pedigree, but obviously she handled the dirt just fine.
And it goes back to Linda just being so shrewd and so cagey, just setting that horse up for a big effort second time out. A New York bred by Court Vision. As we go to the rider standings with our second Saturday program in the books, Erad Ortiz picking up a riding double, as did Joel Rosario. On the trainers front, it was Christophe Camont sending out a pair of colts by Malibu Moon, who won races midway through the program, and Gary Siaka having himself a fine week. Third consecutive long shot win, scored a nice one with Tug of War in race number 2 at 9-1. And speaking of race number 2, we had 3 claims out of the second race, including the upset winner, Tug of War, picked up by Eddie Barker for 25 G's. Long for the City, the Hot Shake horse, a 5-way shake, just failed to get the mile, claimed by Danny Gargan and Midwest Thoroughbreds for $25,000. And we try to take care of everybody on the show. A friendly reminder of a Big A Sunday is coming up next. Charging down to the wire, much like our Sunday preview, race number 7 up first, Neck of the Moon for the streaking white-hot Chad Brown.
Well, you're going to play against Chad Brown and Erad Ortiz at your own peril. I mean, it just seems like everything they put out there is running. If not winning, Jason, they're right there. This filly looks like she's going to get some pace to run at, and why can't she rebound? Although I happen to like a few others in here, so I might be one of the few betting against the Chad Brown-Erad Ortiz duo.
Do you like Seacoast for Christophe Camont off his 2-win turf Saturday?
Well, you know, I do think Christophe Barnes heating up. I think this horse could improve off the first start. I thought she ran on well here. Maybe just hung just a touch, and was that a function of maybe she needed a run? But she also is a filly with 6 seconds, so I'm not sure she has that killer instinct that I look for.
Historically, or at least annually over the last few falls, John Sheriffs has come to live during the fall, and might that be the case with Fresh Feline, who I'm a fan of?
Well, watching Fresh Feline finish first in Saratoga, ultimately disqualified and placed second. This was an off-the-turf event. I like her getting back to the turf, even though she's another one that has more seconds than wins, and sometimes I think that's a character flaw in a horse. But I do think she's been working tremendous. I like her work tab. It's like you said, John Sheriff's Barn heats up this time of year as things start to cool off, and I think Fresh Feline getting back on the turf is the one for me.
And a nice nod to the past with that last off-the-turf stretch replay, the Lazy F Ranch and Phipps stable charging down to the finish line. How'd you like that?
Yeah, two of the mighty stables over over 100 years in the American turf.
Yeah, we're talking deep American roots as we move on to the Stallion Stakes, the Staten Island division for fillies and mares. And Vicky's Dancer, say 3 Hail Marys, ran in this race a year ago.
Yeah, and 3 Hail Marys is going to be the bridesmaid here. This was a while ago now. Now, Vicky's Dancer has not won a race since this effort as well. So I'm kind of going to look for more current form, although going against anything Michael Dubb puts on the track. He won the stake today with Mr. Maybe, and a man that always has a plan for his horses.
And Sharifa has done well off the claim for Linda Rice, yet where has she been off this insanely sharp effort in the Critical Eye?
Yeah, they came back with a poor effort in September, Sharifa. And again, I want more current form. She was powerful. She was in good form at this time. Say 3 Hail Marys was the bridesmaid again here, and I'm sure she's looking to break out of that role. But like I said, I'm going to look for more current form.
And we're fans of Old Harbor. Certainly friends. I'd like to be friends with her. She's a solid little horse here by Raffy's Majesty.
Yeah, but she's making the surface change back to dirt, although she has 2 starts on fast dirt, a win in a second, albeit in slower races. But she is in good current form, and I'll be curious to see how she handles the surface change.
So who do you like if you had to give out a top pick in the Staten Island?
You know what? It's a really tough one. I'm going to go in a completely different direction. None of the horses we showed. I'm going to go actually to a real long shot. Okay, you ready? Family of Roses. I think she's in decent form right now.
The man says bombs away with Family of Roses, and maybe a few other prices are looming. Here's Andy and Maggie.
Thanks a lot, guys. Well, fillies and mares are signing up to go 7 furlongs in the dirt in the New York Stallion Series in the 8th race on Sunday. And I think there's some horses like an Old Harbor that'll take some money. It's really a turf horse, and probably the horse to beat is Sharifa. But we'll see if the same Sharifa that was running well in the spring, and late spring, I should say, is going to come back in this race. Her return race, fast pace or not, was not that good. You've got horses like Vicky's Dancer, even say 3 Hail Marys, I think are very logical in here. In fact, Vicky's Dancer, who won this race last year, is probably the horse to beat. But I'm interested in 9, Dreamboat Annie, coming off a layoff for Leah Giamatti. Dreamboat Annie, to me, is a horse that's got a lot of room to improve. Unlike the others that are older horses and more established, she's a 3-year-old who can improve. I also think she's a far better dirt horse than turf horse. She handles the turf, but she runs her best races on the dirt. She draws well on the outside. She's got a little speed to put herself in the game. She's going to be a fair price. I think she has a chance to upset this field, or at least get in the exactas with logicals like Vicky's Dancer and say 3 Hail Marys. It's the 9-horse Dreamboat Annie for me in the 8th race on Sunday as we head to Maggie.
Thanks, Andy. The sun is shining down here in the paddock, and that means it's time for another Paddock Insider, as I will take a look at the featured race tomorrow. Is a New York Stallion Series race, the Staten Island, and it's for the older fillies and mares. We're going 7/8, and a horse for course is down on the rail with number 1 in here. That is Take Issue for Steve Asmussen and Toby Sheets. And I like the fact that this filly kind of got back to her good form last time out in a race coming off of a layoff. So now she's second off the layoff, having that good effort under her belt. And 2, I've always felt as though the 7 furlongs is the perfect distance for her. Now I'm going to hope for a little bit of a setup because, let's face it, being on the front end here at the Big A does seem to help. But I'm hoping that somebody can go with Sharifa, as she is cutting back in distance as well. So I'm going to go with Take Issue tomorrow in our featured New York Stallion Series, Staten Island. Guys, back to you.
Mr. Ortiz, Mr. Dub, Mr. Brown, and of course, Mr. Maybe, the goods in today's Red Smith. That'll do it for the Mig and myself here on Aqueduct Insider. We'll see you tomorrow night right here on MSG+.